My boy, my brother.
What's good? We back at it.
Another week, man. Another week. Another day, another dollar. How you living? Day was
You know what
cool.
I'm saying? Everything cool. We another day out here living. It's always a blessing. So
Yeah, man.
we get into it. How we living over there?
Man, these kids wearing me out, man. Yeah, I'm
I ain't
teaching.
surprised.
I'm teaching, boy. That joint be having me wore out by the end of the day, bro. Then like I'm substitute teaching, so I don't have no like it's no like hey, if you in the chat, first of all, if you in the chat, let me know if you can see me. Like, is my video clear? Because
Oh, my fault, gang. Hold on.
nah, you cool. You cool.
It look cool
Because
on the IG.
it looks smooth.
Yeah.
All right, bet. Um, yeah, I'm substitute teaching too. So like I don't have no like consistency. It's just like every day is something new,
No,
if you
I
feel what I'm saying.
understand.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like today, I was a middle school PE teacher. That joint was insane. That joint was insane, bro. Like I'm middle school PE. Well, I played basketball for like from the time we got in school at 7:15 this morning to the time we left school at 2:40 this afternoon. That joint was insane, bro. That joint was insane. Nonetheless, though, I can't complain. It's work. You feel me?
It was tough. Making money.
Hey, gotta do it. Gotta do it. What's up, though, man? Where we starting tonight? You want to just go ahead and get it out the way, or you gonna hold off on your team? You want to go ahead and get it out the way, or what?
I mean, it ain't. I feel like it ain't. I can get out the way. It ain't too much to say about them. Besides, the defense played better this past Sunday. I give
All
them
right.
props for that. But they still not good. Like they played the Dolphins, so like obviously we take it with a grain of salt. But they looked a lot better. The offense looked atrocious,
For sure.
and we released our kicker after he missed the game-winning field goal. And I mean, like I made the post, I don't think nobody who's been watching us all year was surprised that he missed. He
Yeah.
can't, or he wasn't. I ain't gonna say he can't kick because he got another job.
I would
He's
have told
only
you. I could have told you in training camp he couldn't kick. That was like the biggest story outside of Terry. That was y'all's biggest story in training camp. Like, cause nobody could have predicted that everybody was going to be hurt and that y'all would fall off a cliff. That wasn't a good prediction. But one of the biggest stories of training camp was, is Matt Gay a good kicker? And he wasn't. He was terrible. He was terrible all training camp. The biggest gripe I had with Dan Quinn was that he didn't bring nobody in to challenge him. It always felt like, bro, you should at least bring somebody in. Even if you know in your mind you're gonna keep Matt Gay, he should have at least brought somebody in to like make it interesting. You know what I'm saying? Make the
no
competition
doubt.
interesting just to make it feel like, you know what I'm saying, put some pressure on him. In training camp, he floated through training camp just missing kicks every day, every week, just floated through missing kicks. That joint was terrible. But nonetheless,
So I
um,
mean, you reap what you sow. They wanted to keep him. He cost us. I guess depending on how you want to look at it, he cost us the game, which is the good thing or a bad thing, depending on how you feel about taking. So hey, it is what it is.
I guess, brother. I guess. Um, yeah. I guess Jay Gruden made a take that JD should come back if he's healthy. What you think?
I mean, if he healthy
That's what
and
they
he
saying.
playing, if he healthy, I'm not against it. I mean, it's only his second year, and like you want to get him all the reps he can get. But my only issue towards that is I don't see no point of him playing in meaningless games. That's my only gripe. And I mean, like, but at the end of the day, he on a contract. You getting paid to play. You healthy. Get on the field, I guess. But I gotta say, if they do that, they need to protect him. if he plays again this year. He gotta protect himself, and they need to protect him. So I would like to see a little difference in play calling. Far as I didn't say it's play calling because he really don't. They don't really call design runs. Like it's a lot of QB reads kind of vibes, and he do a lot of scrambling out of structure kind of things. I think he need to cut down on the scrambling, trying to create out of structure, not to the point where it takes away from what he's good at, but like he don't got to run all the time. Like obviously, I know everybody don't like watching film, and they just watch the game on Sunday and take their opinions from that. But on the film, JD has a tendency to say bump his first read, being that he's playing with these injured receivers. Bump his first
Take off.
read. So I mean, if he gonna play, he gonna have to change that because I'm not guaranteed Terry or Noah or any of them gonna play. We don't know that neither. So like we gonna see. But if he can play, play. If not, if not, I'm not tripping either way because they're not doing nothing this year. Like the season is cooked. You
For
want
sure.
any chance, you have to beat the Dolphins. You didn't do that. The season was cooked.
Yeah. We got 4 viewers on the Instagram, 3 on the YouTube. If you with us, man, drop a comment. Let us know where you at. Let us know where you from. Drop your questions, anything. We got Ike and Jay Flood on the chat. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go Eagles, and then we're gonna go Falcons. Because my boy Eagles fan and my other boy Falcons fan. So let's go Eagles first. Takeaways from that Eagles Lions game. What'd you see? What'd you think?
They have a problem offensively, but like it generally seems to not matter at the moment because even with all their issues, it seems like they're still better than their opponent. Like, I don't know. It's probably maybe one game, at most two, where you looked at the Eagles offense and said, dang, this is what we thought they be. And outside of that, they've looked like what you saw every single week, and yet they keep winning. It remains to be seen if that's a good thing or a bad thing right now. Obviously, when we get to playoffs and everything gets a little stiffer, do you really want your offense, who's been struggling all year, to continue to struggle? But I mean, as long as you win, or as long as they win, I guess it don't really matter. But we're gonna see because I'm not completely sold on the defense yet, but like they look pretty good against the Lions. But we're gonna see. They're in a good position. I just don't know if that offense will allow them to repeat like they want. But they got the talent to do so. So at the end of the day, if they make more plays than the other team, they always gonna be in good position.
I'm gonna start with that defense. That defense looked phenomenal. And if your defense can look like that, you can win on any given Sunday against any team. Especially with the way that the league looks right now. Like if you think about the league at the moment, I'm not seeing a whole lot of offenses that I have faith in. Like there's a few. Don't get me wrong. I have faith in the Rams. I got faith in the Rams. I got faith in the Rams. Yeah, I got faith in the Rams offense. Outside of that, in the Cowboys offense, but who knows if the Cowboys will be there at the end to even contend for you know what I'm saying, for what really matters. So out of the playoff teams that you seeing right now, I got faith in like the Rams offense, especially coming out of NFC. Obviously, I went over that Seahawks offense. And if you can make that Lions offense look like that, you can definitely shut down Sam Darnold and JSN. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't have no problem. You shouldn't have no problem.
Put the script out.
Yeah. But that defense looked phenomenal, and Vic Fangio called a hell of a game. Something I wasn't expecting it, but they looked like you knew they was good, but they looked way better. They looked way better than I was expecting. My boy just said, "Who would have thought Kellen Moore was holding that offense together?" That's facts. Like that offense. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that offense, but here's what I'll say. You got Jalen Hurts on that other side, bro. You got Jalen Hurts as your quarterback. And one thing, for all of the hate that Jalen Hurts gets, and for all of the hate that I give Jalen Hurts specifically, one thing he gonna do, he gonna win. at all costs, no matter what it take, right? So I can't be too upset. I will say this. I wish that every time the Eagles had a problem, it didn't have to come the fix didn't have to come with AJ Brown going into the media and doing whatever he has to do.
For sure.
Obviously, you know what I'm saying? He got to do what he got to do. Obviously he got to do what he got to do, but like you got to go on Janky Rondo to get your touches, bro. You got to go on Janky Rondo to get your touches. That's not a good look. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not what you want your star receiver to have to do. Nonetheless, they found a way to get it done. Now, let's go to that Lions team. I don't know how many people in the chat gonna remember this, but if you remember that Detroit Lions against the Cowboys game from like 3-4 years ago when Dan Campbell first started going for it on fourth down every time, and he lost them that game, and I think they ended up missing the playoffs because they lost that game at AT&T Stadium like 3-4 years ago, and everybody was like, yo, he's tripping going for it every time on fourth down. This is what that game felt like. You could have kicked. You was 0 for 5 on fourth down or 1 for 5 or something like that on fourth down. You know how many of those could have been field goals, and the game is totally different. That last drive is totally different. Then that bailout call that the Eagles got on the pass interference, then we actually care. But you wasn't even really in position to win because by the time the pass interference came, it was like, bro, you didn't play yourself out of the game. Dan Campbell has to at some point swallow his pride and start taking the points, because in a game like that against the Eagles, that's a team that you really get. If your defense is playing the way that the Lions defense was playing, and if the Eagles offense is playing the way that they are playing, you have to be able to steal games like that from the Eagles, bro. If you want to be a championship contender or anything of the sort, you have to be able to steal games like that from the Eagles, because at any point your offense can go for 40, but if they only go for, you know what I'm saying, something in the teens, you gotta go and get your points too. Get it how you live. I don't care how you win, but the fact of the matter is you lost. Yes, you got that high powered offense, but if you're gonna kick a couple field goals, you're in that game at the very end with a chance to win. I think that was a bad game from Dan. As much of a bad game as it was from that offense, it was an even worse game from Dan Campbell, bro. It was an even worse game from Dan Campbell, and I think that because he just started calling the plays, what was it, last week against y'all?
Yeah.
I feel like this week he was telling himself, like, win or lose, I'm betting on myself this week, and that's what it's going to be. Sometimes you got to kick a field goal. Sometimes you got to kick.
That's 100%. I do think he's ultra aggressive sometimes, and like that be costing a team. Like, I have no problem with them being aggressive, because at the end of the day, I think everybody understands now that like touchdowns wins football games.
Yeah.
So like I think the way the league is turning to, more teams are starting to buy into the analytics, and if you got favorable position, like anything close to midfield enough, and it's 4th and 1, 4th and 2, it's a good chance you're probably going for it. But like you say, in certain situations, in certain games, I feel like you got to read the room, and I don't think he did a good job of that this past week. So
yeah,
that's their biggest. That is going to be their biggest thing too, because he can have a habit of costing his team a game because he want to be ultra aggressive, and they just don't execute as well. I guess he would hope, or he think they can. But like you say, obviously that offense is playing real good coming into that game. So for what the Eagles defense was able to do to them, you got to give props to that. But it's a good chance they'll meet again. So we'll see what the second matchup looks like, and if Dan Quinn kind of follows the same game plan he had for this one.
Yeah. I hope he doesn't. Well, for his sake. Talk about Goff. I don't have a lot to say about Goff. This is what I will say about Goff. Jared Goff is one of the best in structure quarterbacks that we have in the league right now. He doesn't play off schedule very well. He's not like a insane playmaker like some of the other guys we have in this league. He's not an insane playmaker like the the Lamars and the Joshes and the Pats and the Daks and the in the Jalen's, whatever. He's not that type of guy. And that's why I give a lot of credit to Vic Fangio, because Vic Fangio made Jared Goff play out of structure on Sunday night. And if you can get Jared Goff off schedule, you can win any game against the Lions. But it's tough to do. It's tough to do. One, because they got a top 2, maybe the best slot receiver in the league in Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got Jamo out there. You got 2 great running backs over there. And the offensive line is very good. So this is where you get into the Howie Roseman conversation of it all. And Howie Roseman and Vic Fangio came together to win that game against the Lions on Sunday night, because Howie Roseman goes out and he knows that defensive line is struggling. He goes out and gets Jalen Phillips, and a lot of people was like, yeah, that was a great pickup. A lot of people was like, he's not that good. Jalen Phillips, like we all knew he would, went to the Eagles and turned a new leaf. He's a very good pass rusher. But you put him in conjunction with the rest of that defensive line, and you get Jared Goff off kilter all night long. And you could visibly see it in his face. He looked shook all night. So the reason I don't have a lot to say about Jared Goff is because I haven't seen a lot of teams be able to do what the Eagles did on Sunday night in terms of getting Jared Goff off schedule. And I'm not sure how many other teams will be able to do it. Obviously, the blueprint is out now, but we say this all the time. You be like, somebody go and beat the Eagles, and they be like, oh, we got the blueprint on how to beat them now. And then they go on a 7-game win streak. Like, you don't actually have the blueprint, right? Yes, the blueprint is out on Jared Goff, how to beat him. But if you don't have the defensive line to get him out of structure, then what does it matter anyway? You know what I'm saying? How many times have you actually seen Jared Goff not in structure in a game? Not very often. So, but yeah, I did say a lot. I did. I did. My bad.
No, I'm gonna just say, the whole conversation about game managers and game changers. Yeah. I think Jared Goff is the prototypical game manager.
I think he's an elite one, though. I think he's
right. I'm saying, like, when you hear game manager and like you picture somebody, Jared Goff should be the first player who pops up, and that's not a bad thing. I don't say that as if that's like a crazy thing to say. I say that because, like you say, if you can get him uncomfortable, he will make mistakes. We saw it in the playoffs when they played us. We saw it Monday night. Like, when you can get him uncomfortable, he can make mistakes. He reminds me of Sam Darnold in the same aspect. I think they're similar in that way, that when you can get them out of their comfort zone, they're prone to start making bad decisions. So it's whatever. Like, I think the thing with the Lions will always be, will they win because of Jared Goff or in spite of Jared Goff? And I think that's the question that's going to be figured out for them, because I'm not going to say I think their window is closed, but I do think it's closing, and they're going to have to get to the big game soon enough.
Yeah.
I don't know how long you can wait. Like, they've been in contention the last 2-3 years. So, like, it got to happen for them soon. And you have the weapons on offense. The defense can improve, but, like, you should be good enough on both sides to reach the Super Bowl. And they haven't quite been able to do that. So who does that fall back on? That's my only thing.
Yeah. I'm gonna come back, Flood. I'm gonna come back to this because we definitely gonna talk about that. Should the Falcons draft another QB? Ty?
I don't think they have any choice.
Yeah.
Truthfully, like, you swung and missed with Penix, and I don't mean that as if I think he's gonna be a bust, but you knew the injury history, and you traded up for him to take him where I don't think other teams were in the position to take him. So I think you jumped the gun and you took him because you like whatever you saw. Perfectly fine. But now here we are in his second year, and he has another torn ACL. So that's a whole nother recovery period. How much can his legs take? His knees. How much can they, especially playing quarterback in this day and age? Like, he's gonna get hit. He's gonna need to be able to move around in the pocket. What can he do at this point? And like, you don't really know until he comes back. But you don't have the time, or in Atlanta case, you don't have the time to sit and wait and try and figure that out. Like, you need somebody now. And we know Kirk is not it. Like, Kirk, best days are behind him. He's gonna be their starter for the rest of the year, but that's cooked. So like, now that you don't have any Penix, you gotta at least think about drafting a quarterback. But even if you don't draft one, you could go hire. You can go sign a veteran and hold over while you decide what you want to do. I don't know how they feel about any of the quarterbacks in this draft class, but if you like one, I'm pretty sure they'll take one. And if you don't, you wait until next year and then reassess the situation. But I think it's for certain, no matter what, or no matter what Penix potential could have been, it's killed right now with them injuries, and we don't know how healthy he'll ever be to play the position. So like, they're gonna have to draft another quarterback or sign another quarterback.
Two things. That the very last thing you said was the most important to me. The reason that they shouldn't go and draft a quarterback is because if you didn't like Penix, you for sure don't like nobody in this draft class. There's not a lot of elite quarterbacks in this draft class. But I will say, with that being said, they don't really have a need for much else. You got one of the top defenses in the league, and you have elite weapons. You can go and get another. Yeah, that's what you need. You need a better coach. You need a better coach. You can go and get another receiver because obviously, you know, Drake is Drake London, but you could definitely use somebody on the other side of him that's actually up to par. That being said, I think you can take a chance on a quarterback at this point because what's done with Kirk Cousins' contract is done. You already know you got the money on the line. It is what it is. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. Like you said though, Penix is not. I personally don't really like him that much as a quarterback anyway. And then with the injury history, it's just not something that you gotta keep, that you need to keep rolling the dice on every year. But that being said, because they don't need much else on that team, you have an opportunity to go and take a chance. Here's what I would like to see them do. I would like to see them go and get Mac Jones. I'm not gonna lie to you. That would be my preferable pickup for the Atlanta Falcons because I'm almost certain he's on a 1-year deal out in San Francisco. I'm almost certain he's on a 1-year deal. You seen what he just did in that time that Brock. Yeah. Mac who? Mac. You seen what he just did in San Francisco with not a lot of great weapons. There was not a lot of great weapons in San Francisco. You had Christian McCaffrey, obviously, but if he did good with Christian McCaffrey behind him, who's the second coming to Christian McCaffrey? Bijan Robinson, right? Bijan. They didn't have a great number one wide receiver over there. They had George Kittle. I think the verdict is still out. We still waiting on the year that Kyle Pitts, he
signed a 2-year deal.
He signed a 2-year deal?
Yeah, so they would have to trade for him.
Never mind. I thought it was a 1-year deal. That makes it tougher. But
I'm not mad at the pick though. I'm not mad at
the pick. Because it's one of them things where it's like it probably wouldn't cost them a lot of money. You could do it, and like you said, it would just hold you over until next year if you really thought you saw something next year coming out the draft that you really like. But I'm not seeing nothing out of this draft class that I'm really liking. So it's like, I mean, I guess you could draft a quarterback just to see, just because you really don't need something else. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, if Mac Jones was on a 1-year deal, I would have went and got him. Listen, this is the resurgence of backup quarterbacks. Backup quarterbacks right now, or quarterbacks that we thought were elite that came out of the draft and weren't very good. This is the resurgence of those. We seen Geno Smith do it. We seen Sam Darnold do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is if this is that time, it would have been time. It's probably time to go and get one of those guys that's on the bench for somebody and see what he can make shake until next year. But Yeah, bro. They got to do something about the quarterback situation. I just happen to not like any of the quarterbacks in this draft class. So I don't know what they're gonna do, but they got to do something about it. And Michael Penix is not it. I mean, he's a great guy, but I'm not convinced of the talent. Nonetheless, though, what are they going to do about this head coach situation, this offensive coordinator situation? The only thing that should be safe on that coaching staff is the defensive coordinator. But Raheem Morris, yeah. But Raheem Morris should be packing his bags very soon.
Oh yeah, he cooked. No matter what they do, his writing's on the wall. His writing's on the wall. By the end of the year, whether he's fired if he ain't fired during the season, he's definitely getting fired at the end of the year. It was a good shot for him. Like he thought he could figure it out. Took a chance on a quarterback. Didn't work out for him. You win some, you lose some, but it'd definitely be another coach in Atlanta next year.
Yeah, Mr. Blank is not firing him during the season. I don't think he'll do that. But Artie Blank is definitely gonna get him out of there. But he's not gonna do it during the season. He's not gonna do it during the season. Yeah, man, that's tough. That's tough. Michael Penix. I really thought that he would be decent, bro. I thought that he could be decent. And I thought they just needed a game manager. I didn't think they needed nothing like, you know what I'm saying, overly elite. I thought they just needed a game manager to hold them over. But while we're on the subject of those of them, Carolina Panthers, do they have a shot at making the playoffs, or will they make the playoffs?
I don't think they will. Now, they're 6-5, so like the opportunity is there. It's just the inconsistency is gonna keep them out of the playoffs. Like I feel like, especially the teams they're up against, those teams are consistently, you know what I'm saying, in the winning column week in and week out, playing good football, doing things, winning football teams. I don't think Carolina has gotten that down just yet. And I think, obviously, from what we saw from them last year, the year before that, they're making drastic improvements. Like, we all can see it, but, like, it's not their time yet. They still need a little bit more. But I do think they're slowly figuring it out, right? The jury's still out on Bryce. I don't know how they feel about him just yet, whether or not they believe he's going to be the future. But you do have a back. You got a back. And I like Tet as the wideout. They got a good little receiving bunch. They just got to put it all together. And I think that's the team learning how to win is what they're currently going through. Like certain teams got to learn how to win. They're sort of young and they're young in important areas. So like they need to learn how to win and overcome certain stuff. So like I do think maybe in a year or two, they will make the playoffs, but like this year, I think it's a little too far of a task for them. Unless they win a division. I don't think Falcons, who win a division? Falcons.
It's Tampa. That's gonna be the problem. And they still got Tampa twice.
That's gonna make it break it right there.
Yeah.
If they beat Tampa, obviously the other games matter, but if they can get one against Tampa, two against Tampa, it looks more likely, but that's gonna be a hard task for sure.
I'll say it's gonna be a hard task because they have the 49ers and the Rams before they play the Bucks.
They cook.
Yeah. They got the 49ers, the Rams, the Saints for a game who they already lost to. The Bucks, the Seahawks, and the Bucks again.
I know they cook.
Yeah. That's where the real problem lies. The real problem lies in the rest of that schedule. It's definitely about the team, but the real problem lies. You got the whole NFC West before you even think about seeing the Bucks twice. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a tough task. We'll jump right quick. The homie asked, what do you think about the James Franklin hire?
I actually think it's a good hire for Virginia Tech. I think. Let me say this about James Franklin because I've gone on record on pod, off pod, and saying like I thought Penn State should have fired him, and it wasn't because I thought he was a bad coach, but like we was talking about the last part, when I think you reach your ceiling with certain coaches, it's time to move on. I thought Penn State did that. He can coach. He's a good coach. I don't think he wins the big games, but Virginia Tech right now needs to rebuild their entire program, and I think James Franklin can do that for them. And once he does that, then we can have the conversation about, well, how far will they go? But he has a tall task to do. But I mean, there's it ain't as hard as it used to be, right? You got the transfer portal now, NIL. You'll see what the boost is talking about at Tech, but he'll be able to do a little something, and then recruitment. You got a lot of talent in Virginia. I'm pretty sure he's gonna start getting some of that talent and to stick around. So we're gonna see. I like the hire. I think he can do wonders for their program. Like, so it's gonna be different. They're gonna have that little like all programs. They're gonna have that little curve to kind of get shit and get stuff in the right direction. But all in all, a few years down the line, I think we'll look at Tech and be like, "Dang, they're actually good now." So
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting because you're mending you're bringing together two entities that know nothing about the other, right? And what I mean by that is um James Franklin comes from a place in Penn State where it's the Big 10. You get the biggest recruits because you're Penn State and because you're the Big 10. And for all that we talked about with their recruiting, um it's not, the money is a little different over there. The money's a little different. Now, what I will say is one of two things happened because I haven't looked at the contract, so I don't know what it is. Either James Franklin betted on himself and took less money to come to Virginia Tech, or there's some boosters out there that we don't know about that's throwing bags, and they threw one for a coach that has been to and seen the mountaintop as far as what is the pinnacle of college football as far as playing in the Big 10 and being at a school like Penn State. What we do know about James Franklin is that he can build a program. He can build the hell out of a program. If you think about when James Franklin took over at Penn State, he took over in probably one of the worst times in college football history, and not just for the sport of college football, but the state that program was in when he got there. That's not a lot. That's not a job that a lot of people probably wanted to take.
definitely.
Which means we know he can build a squad and he can build a program. What does Virginia Tech need? Somebody who can build a squad and build a program. What we also know about James Franklin is that he can take some not so great teams or teams that you don't think should be top tier and make them into very top tier teams. And they don't have to be the best of the best. If you think about, I mean, for all the talk that of who people think Drew Aller is, I don't believe he's truly that guy. Now you go and get you go and get a great tight end and Tyler Warren, and you got a great backfield. If that's what you decide to spend your NIL on, if you're deciding to spend your NIL on mid-tier quarterbacks, tight ends, and good running backs, you can build a squad at a school like Virginia Tech. Because what you can't do is buy really good wide receivers at Virginia Tech right now. Right now, in year one, you're not going to be able to go and buy the Jeremiah Smiths, the Ryan Williamses of the world. You're not going to be able to go and buy those at Virginia Tech this year, I don't believe. But you can go and get you a Drew Aller at Virginia Tech. You can go and get you a Tyler Warren at Virginia Tech. That doesn't cost a lot of money. And so what I think to go back to what I was saying, I think you're bringing two entities together that don't know much about each other, but can form a really good relationship for what they both do and what they are both capable of. And there's a lot of talent in Virginia, as we all know. Everybody on this podcast is probably somehow, some way affiliated with Virginia. So yeah, I think there's a lot of talent out here. To answer your question, Nehemiah, I actually really like the hire. I wasn't sure they were going to be able to pull it off. I had heard that they were trying, but that's tough. That's tough for both sides. Both sides
To
won.
lock it down during the season was kind of smart to me too.
Yeah, for sure. Especially with the firing of all of these coaches out here. And I think it's a few more that's going to get fired too. I definitely think locking it down during the season was probably their best bet, because I'm not exactly sure who would have called and came knocking on his door to come take a job, but I'm sure there were some programs out there that wanted him to come in. He had to have chosen Virginia Tech. So yeah. His next question was, y'all was on the NFL. Oh, did Jamar Chase deserve to be suspended?
I mean, what do you think the suspicion should be, or I shouldn't say suspension. What do you think is a reasonable judgment for spitting on somebody? Like, come on now. He gotta be suspended. Probably deserved a little fine too. But I'll say this also, they set the precedent in the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
With it was y'all game, wasn't it? Jalen Carter. Yeah. So like once he done that and he got suspended for the game, or he got ejected from that game, he set out that whole game. But once you did that, you set the precedent that got to be at least one game. So he was getting suspended. My only thing was, why did we lie about it?
Yeah, that was insane. That was insane. To act like at least when Jalen Carter did it, he walked off like, yeah, I spit on him. And what about it? Like, I did that. And what about it? Jamar was like, no, I ain't even do that, bro.
He said, I ain't spit on nobody.
Bro, it's 2025, big homie. It's 2025. We got cameras everywhere.
I'm saying, you know,
I can be driving down the street and somebody can look in my car with a camera and see exactly who's in the car. This is why you can't get away with high-speed chases no more, because you can literally look at people's cars. You mean to tell me that on a national football field, you didn't think that there was enough cameras to catch you spitting on Jalen Ramsey? On Jalen Ramsey?
Bro.
First of all, there's cameras on both of y'all all game. There's camera. They're in the production.
You're the star wide receiver. You think they're not putting a camera on you, bro? Like, what are you talking about? You're right now, you're the best player on the Bengals team. You think the camera is not following you 24/7 during that football game? Come on, bro. Like, we got to make better decisions. And what make it worse to me, you cooked them last game. You cooked the Steelers last game. So what did they do to you in that ball game to get you so far out your element, you had to resort to spitting on somebody?
Yeah.
Crazy.
He should have gotten 2 games just lying. Just for lying, he should have got an extra one for sure. Look, this is the thing about it. Both of y'all are right. He should have gotten 2 games for lying and because the message hasn't gotten across. The other thing is, though, I think you brought up a really good point. I don't know what Jalen Ramsey said. I can almost imagine, though, not that it deserved for him to be spit on, but if we know Jalen Ramsey, how we know Jalen Ramsey, I'm sure Jalen Ramsey said something insane. I would have rather that Jamar came out and said, look, bro, he said something absolutely wild. I'm not going to repeat it, but just know that it was wild. I felt disrespected and I took it to a place that I shouldn't have taken it. I would have much rather him said that. 1, because it's the truth. 2, because I would have actually believed it. Like if you'd have came out and said, hey, bro, trash talk been part of the game, though. For sure. I'm not saying that it hasn't. And like I said, I'm not saying that whatever Jalen Ramsey said deserved for him to get spit on. All I'm saying is, though, is that I know Jalen Ramsey said something crazy, and it probably wasn't just about football. It probably wasn't just like, oh, I'm locking you up. Like it's Jalen Ramsey. We know.
I'm sure there's a couple cuss words in that jump. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure it was something crazy. Not that that deserves a spit.
Right.
What I am saying is, you could have answered it in a much better way considering who you were talking, who we were talking about. We're not talking about some random little cornerback, right? Like just if we just basing this on character, and it's probably not even really part of the conversation, but if we just basing this on character, Jalen Carter spitting on Dak Prescott was diabolical. Bro, I'm almost certain Dak Prescott did not say nothing to the effect that needed to get spit on, and not because he's the quarterback of my team, and I think, oh, he's just this great. No, I just like, come on, bro. Do we really think Dak Prescott out here like for all that he's been through in his life? Do we think he's talking about families? Do we think he's talking about, like, you know what I'm saying, stuff outside of football? No, I don't believe so. Jalen Ramsey, on the other hand, might have said something that was off the wall. He might have. Let's just keep a spade a spade. Let's call a spade a spade. Jalen Ramsey might have said something that was off the wall. That's all I'm saying. He might have. So if he'd have just came out and been like, hey, look, bro, you're not wrong. We all know he used to follow the other team's wide receivers, get girlfriends just to get in their head. This is what I'm saying. This is the type of character that we know Jalen Ramsey to be. So if this is the person that we know Jalen Ramsey to be, like, it's not insane to say that whatever he may have said to Jamar Chase to get Jamar Chase to spit on him, it may not have been. It may have been something that a lot of people may have been like, hey, bro, that's a little wild. You didn't have to take it there. Nonetheless, though, it's not cool to spit on people.
I think he wanted an early 1-game vacation.
For sure.
I'm pretty sure a lot of that had to do with frustration with the season. With, you know what I'm saying, all the stuff they're going through. I'm pretty sure a part of them was like, I do this, I might get a free vacay.
You and the homie just said the same thing. Bro said, I think Jamar was just fed up because they was losing and he only had 2 catches. Probably. That probably played a lot into it. Excuse me. But yeah, so, you know,
somebody made their debut this weekend.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out if I was gonna go there, because once we go there, it's kind of like not much to talk about. Let's I feel like that's the end of the NFL conversation. We'll get to that at the end. Kansas. Are we worried for real now? I'm
gonna still say no.
All right.
Worried, or what am I worried about? Am I worried about them missing the playoffs? And if that's what I'm supposed to be worried about, I'm gonna say no. They lost a tough game. The Broncos are a good football team.
For sure.
They're a good football team. So let's not make it seem like the Chiefs just lost some game that it's like, oh, like, you're not supposed to be losing. Like, the Broncos are a good football team. There's a reason why they only had 2 losses going into that game. So, with that being said, they knew they had to play their best football to win that game. I just don't think Kansas City did that. They still had opportunities to win, but you got to execute. They didn't do that neither. And at the end, I just feel like they let Bo Nix be too comfortable. That's another thing about Bo Nix. That's probably my problem. It's like he plays to the competition on the field. When I watch him the previous week when they played, who was that? I can't think off the top of my head. Whoever they played the previous week when that game was piss poor and he looked terrible, Bo Nix. And then you watch Bo Nix against the Chiefs making big-time plays, big-time throws, what you want to see out your quarterback. So it's always like which Bo Nix is going to show up. And if the Bo Nix show up against Kansas City, it's like, man, they could do some things. But it's the Bo Nix that showed up the previous week before Kansas City. You like, we know they're good, but I know when we need to they got to rely on Bo Nix, it's going downhill. So I just think Kansas City kind of needs to. I think Kansas City is too focused on trying to get back to the Super Bowl, and I think they're missing the week-to-week basis of the football game. Like I just feel like at this point they're trying to skip steps. When you've been successful so long, it's like, man, we trying to get to the big stuff. Like the regular season, cool, but we trying to get to the playoffs. We trying to get to the games that really matter. And I don't think their foot has been on the gas pedal as best or as good as it needed to be throughout, of course, to begin this year. What are we, 10 or 12 weeks in now? So, like, they have to look in the mirror and say, what team are we? Or who are we trying to be? I'm pretty sure most of us know that Travis Kelce, this is his last year. I believe he already said that, but so when we look at it like that, I know all of them is like, man, we want to win one for Trav. We want to get back to the promise game, but it's like it's getting harder and harder every year. Teams know. We know every year we need to beat the Chiefs. Even when you're not a good team, you're the game that's getting circled because we need to know we're for real or not. No matter whatever y'all record is, 5-4 or 6-3, or y'all undefeated. When we play y'all, we get to find out where we rank against the best. So every week they're gonna get everybody's best competition, and I just don't think they've been ready for that this year. I'm not worried about them though. I think they'll make the playoffs. Jury's out on how far they go, but because they still have Patrick Mahomes, and once we get December and we there, basically, they gonna lock in. I believe, at least.
I give in.
That's real.
I can see. I'm worried. I'll tell you why I'm worried. One, I don't think this is Trav's last year anymore. My pop said something when we was watching the game on Sunday that really made sense. He was like, bro, you think Trav's still working hard in the offseason or in the preseason? It just takes him a little minute to get back to form. Because he looked like Trav this weekend. And he's looked like Trav in the past few weeks. The reason I'm worried is for the same reason that you're not worried. Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes has been losing them games for the past few weeks. From after that they should have lost that game against the Bills. And ever since, Patrick Mahomes has been losing them games. I'm worried because we've never seen Patrick Mahomes lose in must-win situations. And Patrick Mahomes losing in must situations is a cause for concern. Patrick Mahomes throwing only one touchdown, and I know how good that Broncos defense is. Patrick Mahomes, I don't care. Patrick Mahomes throwing one touchdown in a must-win game, and the touchdown wasn't even Patrick Mahomes' best work. That was Travis Kelce's best work. The touchdown that he threw was Travis Kelce looking like vintage Travis Kelce. He broke a tackle. Nobody else wanted to tackle him. He took off for 25 yards. That was a Travis Kelce touchdown on a drag across the middle. That wasn't just Patrick Mahomes making a play how we've become so accustomed to seeing. That's why I'm worried, because I've never seen Patrick Mahomes not look like Patrick Mahomes in must-win situations. And if he's the one losing them games, that's cause for concern. They losing on Thanksgiving. That's what I know. Listen, let's get to these Cowboys. First of all, I'm gonna let you go first.
Y'all played them on Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's gonna be an insane game. I'll let you talk about the Cowboys first if you want, and then I'll go.
I ain't got nothing to say. Cowgirls. No, I'm trolling, but but I mean, I don't have nothing to say about y'all right now because I don't think the Raiders game showed me anything per se. Like, I think we all know y'all offense is one of the best in the league. Like, y'all have Dak, who's at minimum a top 10 quarterback. And then you have CD and Pickens, who could be arguably the best wide receiver duo.
I don't think it's an argument.
I'm just being,
you're being generous. I don't think it's an argument. But go ahead. Go ahead.
So y'all scoring 30, 40. I finished like 30. How much I finished with?
It's like we was up there. It was closer to 40.
Yeah, I'm saying 30 something, but that ain't surprised me. Y'all defense, I expect to. I mean, the Raiders are bad with a capitalized bad. So, like, I didn't really expect them to do anything. I did think Quinnen Williams, he's going to be a problem for everybody. And I understand because the Jets been so bad recently. I don't think nobody's been trying to watch them. But, like, if you've watched Quinnen Williams, You know what kind of havoc he wreaks when he's on the field. You saw it in his first game with the Cowboys. Like, that is consistent. You got him in the middle now. That's gonna help a lot. I still got some other things to figure out behind that, but locking up the interior of your defense moving forward does wonders for y'all. Y'all can build around that. So, hey, shout out to Jerry for that trade. I don't agree with him with much, but that Quentin Williams trade was lookings of a real smart GM.
Lookings of a real smart GM. Watch out, bro. Listen, man, I know it was the Raiders. We went and got 40 balled by the Cardinals the week before, or 2 weeks ago. Like, and this is my problem. Everybody trolled the Cowboys for getting 40 balled by the Cardinals. Nobody got nothing good to say when we 40 balled the Raiders. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Of course they don't. But my point is, though, is like, you can't even talk about the defense. Like, I ain't even talking about scheme at this point. I made a video and I was like, bro, I just like the passion and fire that they came out and played with it. Folks was like, you played the Raiders. I'm not even talking about scheme. I'm talking about passion. We looked like we wanted to be a football team for the first time in 4 weeks, and everybody like, y'all played the Raiders. I don't care who we play. We looked like we wanted to play football for the first time in a while. That's one.
Y'all don't choose who y'all play. I just step on the field.
You feel what I'm talking about? Like, that's all it is. That's all it is. We don't choose who we play. We just go out. All we can do is go out there and do the best we can do. Now, that being said, to get to scheme and all of the things, our pieces are back. We got Overshawn back. We got Siobhan Revel. You know what I'm saying? We got Deron Bland. We was finally able to move Deron Bland to the slot. We got Malik Hooker. We got Donovan Wilson. I'm not upset about the way that this defense looks. Now, yes, we still did give up. What was it? It was like 280 something yards. We still did give up 280 something yards. My thing about it is, if we can be a bend but don't break defense, I'm okay with that. Give up field goals. If we're gonna give up field goals all game, I'll take giving up field goals and sending that offense on the field every single week. Because nobody ever said that we need to get this defense to be a top 10 defense in the league. We said we need this defense to be middle of the pack. Bend but don't break. If that's what we're going to be on, fine. I'll give up a whole bunch of field goals. Yes, they add up. But you know what else adds up? CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, George Pickens, and Javonte Williams coming at you all game long. Just running down your face all game long. Just killing you all game long. CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, George Pickens, Javonte Williams, Jake Ferguson, all of them. If that's what you got all game long, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with field goals. I don't have a problem with field goals at all. So, you know, I was happy. I was happy because I think that we will be a decent team now. We can be a decent team now. We can go back to being a decent team. And if you can give that, all we said was give that offense a shot at the end of the game. If you can get that offense a shot at the end of the game and you can go down swinging with GP, CD, and Dak, I'm cool. If they mess it up, that's on them. But I would much rather go down swinging with my best players. That's like people hate LeBron when LeBron don't take the last shot of the game. LeBron, if you miss, I'm okay with that. I don't want nobody else to, you know what I'm saying? I don't want nobody else taking the shot. I want you to take the shot. Now, obviously, it's Luka now, but you get my point. I want my best guy taking the shot. I want Dak, GP, and CD ball in their hands with a chance at the end of the game. And if they don't make it happen, then oh well. But what I can't have, we don't even got a shot because the defense then gave up 34 at the half. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I can't have that. Yes, everybody did say it was for 94. You know, you got to play for your guys. Play for your guys. I know 94 is up there smiling, happy, and proud of his team. Coach, I'm realizing we skipped right over the Broncos. We didn't even really talk about the Broncos. Ty did a little bit. I didn't. And I know you're gonna get on me. You're gonna text me at the end of the episode and you're gonna say, you skipped my Broncos again. And I'm gonna say, yes, I did. I skip them every week because I know you're here. No, I'm playing. Y'all are 9-2, man. At some point, here's what I'm gonna say about the Broncos. At some point, we have to look at them for who they are. It's a very good defense with an offense that, like you said, you don't know what you're going to get on a week in and week out basis. But the same way that I was just talking about giving your offense a shot at the end of the game, that's all the Broncos do. The defense plays so well that it's a luxury situation to be in. It's the defense plays so well that your offense has time to figure it out through the course of a game. And then what we've seen, I'm gonna start calling them the cardiac kids, because they every week they right there with a shot at the end and they take advantage. Y'all are a team right now that takes advantage of opportunity. And I love that about y'all because of how young y'all's quarterback is. He's not, Coach, I'm not gonna tell you he's the best quarterback in that draft class. He's not. He will never be the best quarterback in that draft class. But I think he has the opportunity to be the winner of that draft class. I think Ty said that a couple weeks ago. I don't think he'll be the best quarterback in terms of talent in that draft class, because obviously you got Caleb, you got JD, you got Drake May, all in the same draft class. I don't think he'll be the best in terms of talent. But if it's anything we learning from these Eagles, it don't matter. It don't matter. As long as you win, that's all that matters. And if Bo Nix is gonna be that type of guy where it don't matter what we do and how we win, we just win. We just put up enough points each week to win. And so be it, man. So be it. And that's what y'all do every week. Y'all winning. Y'all are 9-2. Y'all have knocked down some of the best comp in the league. Y'all beat the Eagles. Y'all beat.
I'm about to say that.
Y'all beat the Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? Y'all took an L to the Colts. Yeah, y'all took an L to the Colts. But if with the way that Colts team was playing for the first couple weeks of the season, and they still playing fairly well, with the way that they was playing at that time, losing 29-28 to them, I'm not mad at that. The way that the Chargers was playing at the beginning of the season, losing 23-20 to them, I'm not mad at that. Y'all haven't given up a whole bunch of points this season. I think that's what's best. Looking at y'all schedule, the most points y'all gave up was 32. Yeah, 32 to the Giants. Like that's a fluke game.
The game that came back and won. Yeah,
in a game that y'all came back and won in the fourth quarter. So again, y'all figuring it out. I ain't mad at that at all. And I ain't gonna keep talking about him too much good, because that's just gonna, I ain't got nothing for that. We ain't gonna keep doing that. But yeah, man, is it time now? I think it might be time now. I think it might be time to get to my guy. Yeah, I think it's time. It's time. I'm looking at the schedule and ain't nothing left there. You may start. Shedeur Sanders played his first live real regular season NFL action. We talked about whether it was time for him to play just Friday night. We was talking about it. We was talking about it for like 30, 40 minutes too. And he finally got his chance. Went out there, stunk up the joint. But I think a lot of people are not using context when they talking about him. And that's what I don't like.
Agreed.
I'm hoping.
And honestly,
context. Go ahead.
And honestly, I wouldn't even use the term "stunk up the place." It wasn't pretty, but like,
nah, he stunk it up.
Listen though, I really don't think the performance is as bad as people think.
Brother,
I really think the numbers make it worse. I really think the numbers make it worse. You gotta understand who is he throwing to? I get it.
You gotta understand. Listen, here's the thing. I'm saying he stunk up the place, but as he should, as a rookie who has this. I'm not saying the passes that he threw to Jerry Jeudy was the first passes he's ever thrown to Jerry Jeudy in his life. That's what I'm saying. That's ridiculous. I'm not saying it in a bad way, but he did stink up the place. Yeah, we're gonna call it spade a spade.
By no means. He wasn't good. So let me make that clear. He was not good. But like you say, with context, no reps with the starters at all. And I know former backups been getting on Twitter and were like, "Oh, this is normal." But I guess they did miss the part earlier this year where Stefanski said that Gabriel was getting reps as the backup quarterback because they needed him. So we're just gonna leave that there. Secondly, the offensive line is one of the worst in the league. Shador has a problem with bailing out backwards, and he's gonna have to kill that if you want to be a starter in the league. But like that offensive line is terrible. There were too many times where he said to go, and there's pressure all on his face. Do know that more times than not, the quarterbacks are responsible for protection. But with a rookie quarterback who's never played, who's also the backup, the center, in theory, should be helping him IDs those protections. Don't know if they were doing a good job with that. Outside of that, he struggled throwing the football. He had to get his rhythm. He threw a pick. That was not a good play. But let's talk about some of the things he did well. He scrambled for a first down. He showed use of his legs, something they will not get out of Dylan Gabriel. Will not. On the drive to tie the game, potentially, he had a good throw over the middle of the field to Fannin. On the money, on target. A few plays later, he had a go ball to the receiver, which was dropped, which was a throw you would want your quarterback. You want your quarterback to make those kind of throws, and you want those throws to be caught. In theory, the game should have been tied. But I do understand when he took over, they were winning and they ended up losing. I think there's things to like. That's what I'm saying. They also had 5 drops. But I think there's things to like from what you saw in his performance. I'm not saying he's good, but I think there's a building blocks in the performance. And when you were set up to fail anyway, you're probably going to fail. But this week, getting the reps with the starters, kind of getting some rhythm, I will expect him to look a lot better. And I don't think he's going to go out there and light the world on fire, but he's going to show you that he has the potential to play the position. And I just think we need to be. I think I'm gonna say we because it ain't me. Some people in the media need to relax when we're talking about a rookie backup quarterback. If his last name wasn't Sanders, he wouldn't caught all this heat for the performance. It's because his last name is Sanders and and how everybody feels about them. I want to say they play the Raiders this week.
They do.
Yeah, so I expect him to play better this week. I just, like you say, I don't like how people is talking about it without adding everything into context. But at the end of the day, I also do understand he could go out there Sunday and go 25 to 25, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. The same people's gonna get up here and be like, he should have done this, or he should have done that, or he didn't play that well. The receivers did this, the receivers did that. So like, he's already fighting a battle. In certain cases, he's not gonna be able to win. But like I say, I personally like some things I saw from him when he came onto the field, and I think there's stuff to like about him starting this Sunday. So we're gonna see.
Yeah, people are not using context when they're talking about Shador Sanders. And this was a crazy argument that I had last night. Like, excuse me. Let's be very clear about what we're saying when we're talking about Shador Sanders. Nobody was saying, I don't think anybody was expecting that his first action would be with 15 minutes to go in the third quarter to start the second half because Dylan Gabriel had a concussion.
Yeah.
When we said that Shador Sanders would look better than Dylan Gabriel, we were talking about with a full week of reps, being named the starter, and getting a full week of practice, all of those things, and coming in on a ready week. Shador Sanders played the second half of a football game. And I know a lot of people don't like that Ravens defense, but since Lamar has come back, that whole Ravens team has looked much different than they did the first few weeks of the season. This is very unprofessional of me. Pop, can you text Ma and tell her I'm still on the pot? She just asked if I was still on the pod. Yeah. So there's no context with what we have going on. Nobody's adding context. The only person who came out and said anything was Cam. Cam came out and was like, yo, even when I was playing, my backup was getting reps with the first team. If Dillon Gabriel was getting reps with the first team when Joe Flacco was out there, then Shedeur Sanders should have been getting reps with the first team. Here's my other problem. In no situation should you ever have a quarterback who, for as bad as he is at using his legs, is a runner of the football and not be giving your backup quarterback reps. If he's going to run the football, if he's going to take off at any point, if you feel like, yeah, my quarterback is probably going to take off. Like, we're not talking about a statue in the quarterback here. We're not talking Tom Brady in the quarterback. We're not talking about somebody who we know is just not going to leave the quarterback. This is Dillon Gabriel, who's a younger quarterback who's still prone to using his legs, which means your backup quarterback should be getting reps because at any point, what we saw happen could happen. The center came out and said, I didn't even know the cadence he was using. The line doesn't even know the cadence that the quarterback is using. We're in insane territory. We're in insane waters right now. He don't even know the cadence that the starting offense uses. He using the cadence from the scout team. He out there running scout team using the other team's cadence. The Ravens probably knew the cadence better than he did because he was probably using their joint. He was probably saying the same thing Lamar was saying out there, not what Dillon Gabriel is saying. Here's what I also don't want. Please do not come next week if Shedeur have a good game against the Raiders and tell me, bro, he just played the Raiders. Let's see what happened in 2 weeks. I do not care who he plays. It will be his second ever NFL game. Second. And the first half will be the start of his second half of NFL football. So by the end of the game, he will only have played 3 halves of NFL football. Please do not come on here and tell me he only played the Raiders. That is coaching negligence. That is coaching malpractice. Another coach would be fired in the same instance. And I took up for Kevin Stefanski last week. This right here, Kevin will be gone, and he should be gone. Because if this is the way that he's running his team, if this is the way that he's running his organization, this is negligence. This is malpractice. This is all of the synonyms for them big words. It's all of them. He's horrible for that. He's horrible for that. That's terrible, bro. That's terrible. Now, yes, Shedeur did go out there and stink up the place. He did. But what was he supposed to do? That was you. How do you go through a mini camp, a training camp, and we on what, week 12? We on week 12 now? This is the week 12 recap? A mini camp, training camp in 12 weeks of the season. And the first pass that you threw to Jerry Jeudy was the first pass you've ever thrown to him. Ever. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Stefanski should be ashamed of himself. Ashamed.
I will say this too. Like I was saying, a lot of former backup quarterbacks was coming to his defense or whatever, saying like, it's normal for the backup to not receive any reps with the first teams. And my thing is this, right? It sounds good. I get it. You want your starting quarterback to get all the reps he can, prepare for the game, whatever day of the week it is, and do all that good stuff. Do we not realize that quarterbacks get hurt? My only thing, we have a veteran backup. I can politic with you and understand why he's not getting first team reps. He's been around, probably play with a few different people, understands the game, the system. He can go up there and be successful. A rookie quarterback does not have that same outlook for the game. he needs reps. And I don't even say this as he needs a whole bunch of reps. Since he even named the backup, since Flacco got traded, at some point, Shador should have got reps with the first team. I don't feel like nobody's asking him to get all the reps. But like you telling me there's not a single practice from when Flacco got traded. We ain't gonna talk about pre-Flacco. From when they traded Flacco until he stepped on that field, we ain't even attempt to get him a rep. Attempt. Not a single rep with the first team offense, knowing he can be potentially put in that position. But you gave Dylan Gabriel reps.
Mind you, Flacco was traded 4 weeks before the bye, 2 weeks before the bye. So you went through a bye week and he was your backup quarterback and he didn't get no reps. What are we doing? What are we doing?
They want that to make sense. And they be trying to they want that to make sense. I just can't get with that. If I had a team, the backup's gonna get some reps eventually. I ain't saying you gotta get it every single practice. I ain't saying you gotta get it every single week. But at some point, he needs to step on the field and throw the ball to the potential people he would be throwing to if he stepped on the field. That just sounds like good coaching to me. It sounds like due diligence doing that. But maybe I don't know nothing. So I don't know.
Yeah, man. Anyways, before we move off the not for long league, let's get these picks in right quick. Or should we wait? Should we wait till Friday?
We can.
You want to wait till Friday to do our picks? And we'll have a lot of picks, though. We'll have a lot of picks because we'll have to do NFL and college football. Let me check. Yeah, let's wait till Friday. Let's move. Let's move. Crazy week in college football. Crazy week that we just had in college football. Clemson obviously went out there and did what they did. They actually won. It was crazy. They won a game that they shouldn't have won, but lose all the games that they should win. They finally won. How are we feeling about Dabo this week?
My opinion ain't changed. P made some good points last week or the week before, whenever it was.
It was last Friday.
But yeah, P made some good points, so I respect it. But my feeling is, if he don't get with the program in today's college football, he's not the coach for them. But at the same time, if Clemson is fine with the approach he's taking, then by all means, they have a healthy relationship going on. Keep doing what you're doing. He had the press conference earlier where he said, like, this is a development program. We ain't just going out and getting people from the portal and bringing them in here and people transfer them out. You come in here, you're going to be here 3-4 years. We're developing players. We're developing men. We're trying to grow men. I respect it. What is that going to do for your program? I mean, at the end of the day, raising and growing men, you get a round of applause for that. Like, okay, but
round of applause is crazy.
You there to win football games. You getting paid to win football games. So if that's not going to translate to wins, how many claps you going to continue to get? That's my only thing. So we're going to see. At the end of the day, I do feel like Dabo's a good coach, and if he get the players to buy in and they do a good job of kind of being a well-coached team and stuff like that, and like I said, the AD at Clemson is fine with the approach they're taking to recruit high school players or players in general to Clemson, then by all means, bro, y'all rock out. I just know they're not going to be competing for anything of meaning. Yeah. So
yeah, I don't think that's a serious program over there. They have a very serious coach who's turned into a very unserious coach. It's insane. Nonetheless, Oklahoma went out and beat Bama. What did you see? What did you like? What did you think?
Respect to Oklahoma, because I definitely picked Alabama. I thought they would have took care of business, and they didn't do that. And honestly, I think the bigger talk is about Oklahoma's defense and what they did to Alabama in that second half. They had like Ty Simpson finish the game with like 60 passing yards in the second half, and he had like almost 200 in the first half. So it's like when you can make a switch like that to help you win your ball game, you need to be put in a, you know what I'm saying? You need to be highlighted.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, Oklahoma kind of needed that game more than Alabama did in terms of we're looking like big picture, trying to make the college football playoff, stuff like that. So at the end of the day, Oklahoma had more to play for. Not saying Bama didn't, but you could tell Oklahoma just wanted it a little bit more. They needed it a little bit more. And I think the only thing that's gonna like DeBoer for Alabama, the coach, I really think he's a good coach. But I think losses like those, right? The loss to Florida State earlier this year, the loss to Oklahoma. It's like certain games is they're always gonna be in the forefront of your memory. And I don't know if Alabama has ever been in this territory where it's like, nobody really, I ain't gonna say respects you, but like nobody fears you. No matter what we play on, whether y'all coming to us or we're going there, we don't have the same fear we once had when Saban was coaching that program. So now everybody like, I need this, I need that. So we're gonna see what happens. But like I say, shout out to Oklahoma because you earned some more respect in my book. And Alabama kind of, I ain't say they lost some, but not as good as I thought you were.
You know my biggest problem with DeBoer? When it's time to play SEC games, he doesn't have an SEC team. And this comes from he's not an SEC guy. He's not an SEC coach. He didn't come up in the SEC. He is a West Coast guy. You know who would have won this game? And it's easy to say it. Nick Saban would have won this game. But Nick Saban wouldn't have won this game because Nick Saban is an all-time great coach or all-time just that much better of a coach than DeBoer, although he is. What I'm talking about philosophy here. And I'm not in the locker room in Alabama, so I don't know what the actual philosophy is. I'm just looking at what it looks like. I'm talking about what it looks like when you turn on the TV and you watch Alabama play. The philosophy doesn't look like fast, physical, tough. It just looks like fast. It just looks fat. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't look like they're ready to play SEC games when it's time to play in SEC games. You lose 23-21 and at the end of the season, you know what I'm saying? In week 12 of college football, that's not an SEC coach that's going to be around for a long time, in my opinion. That's not when it's time to okay, listen. This is one of them games. Oh, this is just one of them games. This is one of them games. I gotta put my head down and I gotta be tougher than you are. It doesn't feel like Alabama has that when it's time to win those SEC games. It's funny that I'm saying this because this is the same Alabama that went out and beat Georgia at Sanford Stadium in Athens. I know they did that, but it felt like they were comfortably ahead the whole game. It took Georgia too long. If you see the same Georgia that just played against Texas, I don't know that that's a win for you if you're Alabama. They just don't feel tough how we've grown accustomed to seeing Alabama teams. I don't think I would have ever thought that I would see Alabama lose a game like the one that they just lost. If somebody just goes out there and they're just flat out better, the talent is better and they just flying around and they faster and Bama can't keep up with them. All right, cool. I never thought that I would see Bama get out physical though. And that's what I saw on Saturday. And that's what I just, that was a tough watch. That was a tough watch as somebody who's grown accustomed to seeing a very tough Alabama team. Nonetheless, on the flip side, Georgia went out and gave that belt. Sorry, Pop. That was the definition of belt to ass. against Texas. That was 35-10. And listen, I know that this is an Arch hate pod. Not literally. We don't really got a problem with Arch, but we're just not Arch believers. I know that we don't believe in Arch, but that was different. That was different. Like I don't know what I expected, but it won't that. I expected Georgia to win. I didn't expect to see what I saw though. 35-10. What did you see?
One team better than the other one. That's just the bottom line. Georgia's been playing at a very high level all year. And, Texas has their struggles. Arch was struggling in the beginning of the year. They're still in the midst of struggling. Like, they kind of was getting to, I wouldn't say form of what we saw in, like, the previous couple years, but you could tell that they were kind of getting a rhythm together. And then they went in there this past Saturday, and none of that mattered. Like, you could tell it's levels to everything right now, and Texas is just not on that level, not where they want to be. So they gonna have a long look in the mirror too. Like, Archie beat her next year, but what are you gonna put around him to be successful? And
is that the problem? They still got all of them weapons that they had last year, or a good majority of them. I mean, I know Matthew Golden isn't there, but we was talking about this offense being just as elite this season because we thought that you know what I'm saying, that like that they was gonna be really good. Like, they still got Ryan Wingo over there. Parker Livingstone, while he may not be a NFL caliber wide receiver, and he might be, he very well might be. If somebody can Bill Belichick, Wes Walker, and what's your boy Julian Edelman him and turn him into a nasty slot, he might be a NFL talent. But I don't believe that they have a real lack of talent over there. I just don't think the quarterback is that good. But that's not my problem with Texas. That wasn't the problem. My problem with Texas this week, that defense that was supposed to be one of the best defenses in the nation, you went out there and you gave up 24 for 29, 229 yards, 4 tuds.
had a rushing touchdown too, didn't he?
Yeah. He had 29 yards on the ground. Nate Frazier had 72. Hey, there's not a lot of people talking about Nate Frazier. I like the way he runs the ball. He runs hard. He runs that. He runs the pig hard, man. He runs the pig hard. My biggest problem with Texas is because the offense, they were bad, but I don't think I was as shocked as I was watching that defense. That defense was supposed to be best in the nation, or one of the best in the nation. And Gunnar Stockton went out there and put on a show. They had them lights flashing all night, putting up points. That was my real takeaway from that game. Last college football game, though. He called it, and he was right for a half. Texas A&M, South Carolina.
Yeah.
Is Beamer ball done? Beamer ball, like, this is one of them ones where even the people that was like, nah, Beamer cool, like he gonna be all right. His job not hot. This one of them ones that takes a coach that was in a comfortable situation to a very uncomfortable situation. They had 30 in the first half and lost
And
30.
finished with 30.
If you'd have kicked one field goal in the second half, you win the game, brother.
I'm saying though, like,
is Beamer ball cooked?
I don't know if he cooked. He very well may be. Like, those are the kind of losses that cost people their job. So he very may well be cooked, but he got I don't know. I think it's interesting for him at least. I think their season was predicated on what kind of jump Lenore Sellers took at the position. And I don't think the jump this year was all that great. And I think that reflected in the team's record. Like they have other issues, but I just don't think. I think they were, or in my opinion at least, they wanted to lean on him, and he was supposed to take them to the promised land, and it just didn't work out that way this year. And I ain't seen a promised land like undefeated, but I think they thought they would have been better than what they are currently. So it's gonna be interesting. But I think honestly, I should just tell you the kind of confidence Texas A&M is playing with right now. Because like most teams would have quit. Most teams would have quit. But down 30-0, or it won't 30-0, I can't remember it. They were down a lot.
Yeah, it
At
was
half.
basically 30-0. It was
Yeah,
basically
I'm saying
it was
so.
like or something like that.
Yeah, so I mean, to fight all the way back and get a win, like that shows a lot about kind of the belief system going around in that locker room over there, and kind of how they all come together for a bigger goal. So like I said, I like Texas A&M. Pete almost called it though. He was talking about that upset very hard. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that. And then I checked the score, turned on the game. I'm like, man, it's
It
like
looked bad.
this.
It looked bad. It looked bad.
So I obviously it go both ways. It's a game that you don't want to lose if you're South Carolina, especially being up by that much. But you gotta learn a lot about yourself. I think self-reflection should be big for a lot of college football teams because like with everything that go on right now, I feel like a lot of them be like, man, we spend his money here, we spend his money there. We get this top recruit here, man. We should be. It's not really that simple. Like I say, I think a lot of it, I'm not gonna put it all on Sellers, but I do think people having him like a consensus, like top 2, 3 quarterback in the beginning of the year, and it's like he's falling from that now. So it got a lot to do with it. But you gotta respect the Texas A&M ability to continue to fight, and that's why they rank number 3 right now, and they undefeated. So we gonna see what happens with Texas A&M because you don't want to get too comfortable with kind of playing from behind and having a claw back victory, especially at this point in the year, because you closer to one and done than you'll ever be. So it's gonna be interesting, but respect Texas A&M, like they fought back. So that's what I'm gonna take away from that game.
Two things. I know that we was like, Lenoris might not get in that portal. I know that we was like, Beamer Ball's job is probably cool. I don't know if either of those things are true anymore. If you're Lenoris Sellers at South Carolina right now, I know the hate mail that South Carolina is sending is nasty. I know whatever he's getting in the mail, his DMs, his comment section. I ain't even looked because I'm scared for him. I'm scared for him.
You know them people are ruthless. So
Man, this is the thing. I know how well South Carolina is taking care of. I know how well South Carolina is taking care of Lenore Sellers. I know how well Beamer is taking care of Lenore Sellers. I do believe that at this point they are a bit of a package deal, which means if Lenore Sellers shows any indication of getting in that portal, of jumping ship, Beamer Ball will also be done. If Lenore Sellers stays, they'll let both of them ride it out and ride off into the sunset together. But at this point, I don't think you have one without the other. I don't think that they give Beamer another chance with another quarterback. This was his guy. The same way, it almost feels like kind of the same way that what's your boy in Florida?
DJ Lagway or
DJ,
Lagway.
yeah, DJ Lagway and what's his name, man? I'm blanking on
Billy
the
Napier, right?
yes.
The coach.
Napier and Lagway. It feels the exact same. They are a package deal. If Lagway gets in that portal, Napier's fired. If he's not fired already, he's probably already fired. I don't
Yeah,
even think.
they got Bro out of there.
Yeah, I don't even think there's a question. They're getting him out of there. It's just a matter of time at this point.
I think you mentioned though. I think he hopping in the portal. I know we won't. The conversation ain't start with him, but I definitely think Lightweight's going in the portal now. So
that's what I'm saying. I definitely think he's getting in that portal, and he's getting in that portal because if they get rid of Napier, it's cooked. And whoever the new coach is probably doesn't want Lagway. I think it's the same thing. If you fire Beamer, you don't bring in Beamer or you don't bring in another coach and say, "Here's Lenoris Sellers." You can't do that. If you're Lenoris Sellers, you probably don't want to stay in that situation in South Carolina. You're probably looking at the recruits that they've been bringing in. You're probably looking at all of the ones that's on their officials, and you're looking and you're like, I don't want to throw the ball to him. I don't want to. And I don't care how much money you give me to do it. At this point, we talking about my draft stock. And my joint is cooked. Cooked. I went from a consistent, and granted, the majority of it is his fault. But you go from a consistent, like this is almost like a Carson Beck type situation. You went from easily one of the best quarterbacks in the nation to by the time you left Georgia, the verdict was out on you that you weren't really that good. Lenoris is kind of in the same boat. At the beginning of the season, we was like, man, what Lenoris about to do this year is going to be unfathomable. It's not even something that we can imagine. And now you kind of like, I don't know how good he is. I'm not sure how good he is. I think both of them get out of there. Because if Lenoris jumps, they fire Beamer too. That's what I got. All right. Let's move so we can get out of here. Did you watch the game last night? LeBron made his debut. Went out there 11, 10, and 3. And I loved it. I loved every second of that 11, 10, and 3 that Bron gave them boys last night. You want to know why? Because LeBron wasn't out there trying to do too much. Bron took 7 shots in total. He was 2 for 3 from the 3-point line, 4 for 7 from the field, 3 boards, 12 assists. Swinging that rock. Bron, good on you, man. Good on you. That's what we need from you, Bron. Listen, Bron did so good. Jake LaRavia came out there, played 26 minutes, was plus 12 on the plus minus, and had 16 points of his own. I love this Lakers basketball right now. This is amazing. This is amazing Lakers basketball right now. We 11-4. We just went out there and put up 140. I know it's the Jazz, and I know it's early in the season. I don't care. They're a decent team. They're a decent team.
Shit, they're a professional team anyway. So regardless, 140 is insane.
We went out there and put up 140, my boy. And LeBron James scored 11 points. If you put up 140 and LeBron James scored 11 points, you might be doing something. Now, he didn't look that great on the defensive end to begin the game. He had to get in a groove. But nonetheless, we put up 140 and LeBron only scored 11 points. What do you think?
I feel like that's kind of, or at least for me, that's what his role need to be right now. We don't really need you to be trying to do too much, like you were saying. Like, I don't need you trying to 20, 10, and 7 every night. What you did last night is great. Take your shots when you want to. And we already know how great of a facilitator you are. So, like, the assist part is going to be easy. And if you grab some boards here and there, you stay healthy. The sky the limit. Like, Adding Luca and Austin Reeves is taking a step I think everybody's been waiting for him to take this year. So it's like when you got them two playing at a high level and you can kind of get everybody else to fit in where they get in with the young guys you got around. And I think Ayton is gonna be big. Whatever y'all can get from Ayton, hey, y'all stand where y'all want to be. I think JJ is gonna be a great coach. If you already don't consider him a great coach, so like it's a lot to like over there. Even though I want to say I like it, I kind of hate it, but like you know.
I don't care what you hate. I don't care.
But my question for you: you think LeBron 10-point streak ends this year?
Huh?
His 10-point streak?
His 10 points. Oh, you talking about his like 20, what is it? This is like 20, his he averaging 20.
I want to say it's a crazy stat. Like whatever games he's played, like 20 minutes or more.
He's never scored
below 10 points or something like that. It's something like that.
No. LeBron, listen. LeBron, hate him or love him for it. LeBron knows. Like LeBron knows these things. This isn't like this isn't somebody that you can fake the funk with. Like, I wonder if he knows what people are saying about him. No. LeBron knows what people say. LeBron knows what his records are. LeBron knows what his stats are. If LeBron averages 11 points a game, he will average 11 points a game. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't expect him to only score 11 points a game. I don't think that's necessarily going to be his role. It'll probably be more closer to like 17, 18.
Yeah, for sure.
Like that. I think last night he was really out there trying to fill out like, all right, what
new
do y'all
kind of vibe, all that kind of stuff.
Like, what do y'all need me to do? What do y'all want me to do? I think that's what he was trying to figure out last night. And I think the more and more that he figures it out, the more and more that he will find where his shots actually come from. Not only that, but I don't know how much he'll run the second unit, but I got a feeling what's gonna happen is JJ is gonna start getting him out early. And once he gets Luka and Austin on the bench, LeBron will come in and run the second unit. Because he's the best point guard we have on the team. Still. As good of a facilitator as Luka is, I still think LeBron is the best point guard we have on the team. Still. That's just my opinion. Therefore, and you probably even in year 23, even at 40 years old, about to turn 41 at the end of December, I still like LeBron's conditioning a little more than I like Luka's, which means I probably let Luka run the first unit, get LeBron out early, let LeBron run the second unit, get LeBron back out, send Luka and AR back out there to close out. You know what I'm saying? And then we'll bring it all back together come fourth quarter. They'll all be on the floor. I'll tell you what I did like from JJ. I did, in as interesting as it was, because it actually takes away a lot of the length when you don't have Rui on the court. I really did like that lineup where he went Marcus Smart, Austin Reeves, Luka, Bron, and DeAndre. That only works though if DeAndre is doing what he's been doing. DeAndre in the past, DeAndre is averaging about 20 on the season. I think it's like 18.9 or something like that. He's averaging about 20 on the season. But in the past 4 games, he hasn't been under 10 rebounds. We finally gotten him to get on that glass. Now, he's like 10, 14, 16, and 10, something like that. If DeAndre Ayton is going to get on the glass for the first time in his career, teams is going to have a real problem. They
already got a real problem.
Luka
is a problem in itself, no matter how good or bad y'all is.
Luka's his own problem. Laravia is nasty coming off the bench. AR is AR. You get DeAndre Ayton to do what he's supposed to do. Hey man, we're gonna have a good team. 140 by ourselves.
Ain't bad.
Ain't bad. We get the 2 by ourselves, we gonna be cool. We get the 2 by ourselves, we gonna be cool. I like that rotation, but I think he's on the floor to close the halves for sure. I don't think Bron's not on the floor to close the halves. I just think, especially if we're talking about that 10 point conversation, no, because he's gonna find his shots with that second unit. He definitely gonna find his shots with that second unit. That's just my opinion of what I think is gonna happen in terms of rotation. What actually happens and what JJ actually does, I trust and I believe in, and I'm okay with. I think that's just what's gonna happen. But yeah, man, shout out to everybody that rocked with us tonight, man. We got an hour 40 in, 9:55. Appreciate y'all, man. Everybody that dropped questions. Yeah, good. We had good interaction tonight. I think we had good interaction tonight. What you think, Tom? It was cool.
For sure. We appreciate everybody who watches, comments, keep up with the page, all that good stuff. It doesn't go unnoticed.
We definitely appreciate everybody that, likes, comments, subscribes, reposts, share, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell their mama, all that good stuff. We appreciate y'all, man. We be back Friday with Picks and Friends Friday.
Most stuff.
We got to talk. So we got to get some people. We got to get going on that. It's Wednesday. And we said we was going to do better about it.
That's real.
We got to get right. Man, if y'all want to come up on the pod, let us know too. Pop, you can come up on the pod. Coach, you can come on the pod. Whoever else in the chat, let us know if y'all want to come on the pod, man. I'll send the link. I don't got a problem with it. Y'all can come do a little take, do a little segment or whatever you want to talk about. Just let us know. We'll bring y'all on. We appreciate y'all. Everybody have a good Thursday. Have a good rest of y'all week. We see y'all Friday night around the same time. Picks and Friends Friday. We out.